prepared us for that time, so that, you know, I think now, I tell her all the time, I laugh at the guy who back in 2007 making 200 grand a year would lay in bed and worry about money.
Right.
You know, I like to tell that guy now, hey, listen, chill out, because
Right.
in 4 years from now, it's going to get really crazy.
Yeah.
But God does. He gives us this wonderful experience training, if you will, and that's what I see in your story here. Is every time, you know, that you've tried something that it did, you know, that it didn't work, you went a different direction.
Yeah.
Are you a nurse now?
No.
But let me ask you this: do you still want to be, or?
Actually, no.
No.
See, that's what I'm saying.
Yes,
He changed, yeah.
exactly. I still have a passion for people, and I still have
Yes.
a passion to actually help. But I now know that it is not down that road, you know.
It's in a different way, through ministry.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yes.
Exactly.
Well, see, it's hard, because a lot of times, you know, the career you live in your 40s was chosen by an 18-year-old who's just dazzled by what's going on in the world. So that's why I ask you that question. It's funny how God might close a door and you're like, God, that stinks. I really wanted to do this, and now, you know.
But he's giving you the desires of your heart, because you're saying you don't really want to do that now,
Yeah.
but this is what you are called to do.
Yes.
When did you found your ministry? It's Inspired to Prosper.
It's Inspired to Prosper.
Yes. When did you found that? Or start it?
I actually started that in 2011.
Okay.
I was in an accident, and I almost lost my life. And I'm thankful for my mother, because I know from her prayers and also just saved me, because I was going down the interstate, and there was something in the road, and I swerved to not hit it, and my car spun around, and so
Girl.
basically I said, you know what, life is short.
Yes.
It is so many.
Preciously short.
Exactly. And you know what, sometimes we live our life through the imitations of life by looking at television, on social media, and all those other things, and we're not experiencing it because of our fear. We're afraid of what someone will say. What will we think? What would they think about me? You know, if I go outside of my comfort zone. But then you want to be able to experience something. So I said, you know what, I'm no longer going to be afraid, and I'm just going to do it.
Amen.
So I started it. I began Inspired to Prosper, and I went throughout the whole process of making it, starting my company, and I also wrote the book Inspired to Prosper, which is the namesake of the company, because I am inspired to prosper by people like yourselves and everyone who are actually living and walking in their purpose and their dream, whatever that may be.
Amen.
You know?
Amen. So this is Inspired to Prosper. It's never too late to turn a dream or an I wish into a reality.
Yes.
I love it. And I was noticing in the back of your book, or is it at the end of each chapter, you've got where people can write and then ponder their thoughts and as they've read your story and learning. I think this is really cool, because again, it just reminds you that there's nothing that you faced in your life that you can't overcome and turn into something good. Whether it's dropping out of high school, college, something that's been done to you, having a child at an early age. I mean, you know, God can use all of it.
Yeah.
How old is your daughter now?
She is actually 12. We're 20 years apart.
Oh, wonderful. Well, we have a 12-year-old, so
really?
yeah. So that's a fun age.
She is a total blessing. I wrote something in there about her, because she has such a beautiful spirit. I mean, I see some of myself in her, but my negative things about me, I do not see. And I was just like, wow, you know, and I'm just so blessed to have such a wonderful daughter, and there's such a blessing.
That is a blessing, girl. I'm so glad y'all are close.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Nothing will cause you to clean up your act like having a child.
Yeah.
You know, it's every time I deal with anything with my son, I always ask myself, well, am I doing this first? You know, I mean, you know, just trying to be a good husband and a good father.
Pouring into the next generation.
But it's interesting how God challenges you to become an even better person by having a child. You know?
I was looking on your website too. Do you have a blog?
I do.
So tell us about that.
My blog is chronicling my journey, because this is just the beginning. At the end of my book, I was actually going through a transition of trying to realize how to make a change and do better with myself.
Yes.
And realizing my purpose. And I realized what my purpose is, and now I'm actually going forth to make it a reality. And I actually have a transparent look, the good, the bad, the ugly, everything, to just be real, to show that everything that sparkles is not gold. And sometimes when you see a person and you assume that they're going, you should truly know the true struggle there is enriching. you know, doing great things. But at the same time, difficulty will come, and you still have to deal with it and still keep on going.
Right. And God is faithful through it all. I mean, so you've lived through some very hard things. I have as well, personally, after my coma and all those medications, and I questioned God. But God is so faithful. I mean, we've just got to keep clinging to Him through it all and see what His plan is, you know, for our life.
I think, Ahlumba, one of the things that your story really reminds is that a lot of people, when they fall down, in the back of their head, they're hearing this, that's it, it's over, you can't serve God, you're done. And one of the things that Tanya and I have constantly themed throughout our lives and try to teach other people is God doesn't waste anything. You know, God never created anything that He said, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. He's always had a purpose for what you're doing, and it's interesting to see how your journey has led you to find that purpose. And I think that a lot of people in the world today are looking for mentorship or guidance or just somebody that says, hey, you're worth it. And I see your ministry doing that, and that's very commendable.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. And I think that was wonderful what you said as far as like nothing is wasted.
Amen.
Because truly, sometimes when I get down, I'm like, well, you know what, Lord, you said in all labor there is profit, and just because you're not actually seeing fruition from it in that very moment, doesn't mean it will not come eventually, and you won't have some use from it. You know, so that was very powerful what you just said. So,
well, what you agreed is true.
You're
because I mean we're
living proof of it.
We're shooting a shooting a TV series right now that we don't make any money, and I'm having to work like 3 jobs and some days is tough because you're like, I'm making no money. So what you said is true. I mean, that really does help remind me too that, you know, what you said is sometimes it's not here, sometimes it's there.
Coming. And it's doing it for the one that matters. It's doing it because God called you to do it. And so we don't do it for the money or for other reasons. He's called us to do it. He'll pay for it. So I want to thank you for your story and for your transparency. You have a beautiful smile, a beautiful spirit.
So in the last
laugh.
couple of seconds we have here, tell us how we can get your book and learn more about you.
Connect with you.
Okay, you can get my book from Amazon.com, and then also you can also visit my website at inspiredtoprosper.com to see where how to also get my book from there.
Excellent. And you're available for speaking engagements as well?
I am.
Awesome.
You can also reach me through my website to contact me for speaking opportunities or anything.
Wonderful. Yep, you will love having
We wish you all the best.
Harris.
Thank you.
This has been so enjoyable. Thank you for watching. We